Today we're going to be going over the complete guide on how to return a leased vehicle. Now if you're leasing a car from a dealership, it's going to have to be returned at the end of your lease agreement back to the dealership in the original condition. And we're going to be showing you how to restore the vehicle back to that original condition to make sure that when you give it back to the dealership, you're not going to have to pay any fees associated with returning your car. And when you return a leased car to the dealership, they're going to look it over for the condition of the paint, the condition of the interior, and all the other little bits of the car. And if it's not in original condition, they're going to charge you for that. So today we're going to go over a complete guide on how to use a specific amount of products to get the car back looking new again. Now you don't want to spend a lot of time on this job because you're going to be giving the car back to the dealership. So me, Matt, and Robbie are going to do the whole car quickly and easily using just a small selection of products. We're going to wash the car, we're going to clay it to remove all the decontamination off the paint. Then we're also going to go ahead and apply a glaze to hide up some of these scratches that are covering the whole vehicle. Once we're done, we're going to protect it with some wax and dress and clean the tires. So hopefully we're going to get on the job right now. I'm going to go grab Matt and Robbie. We're going to hopefully get this car done by the end of the day because it's going to have to go back to the dealership. So let's get started.
So to clean the car down, to get started with the whole detail, we're going to start off using the ECOSMART waterless wash and detail system. It's a great product to use. It's very simple to use. And it saves you a lot of time because you don't have to use hoses and water and buckets. You save a lot of water. So all you do is you spray it down over all the dirt, all the garbage on the surface of the paint. You take a microfiber towel, wipe all the dirt off in one direction. So as you see, as I wipe, I'm picking up all the dirt here in the towel. I'm not scrubbing it into the paint back and forth. Wipe in one direction again, pick up all the stuff. Then once you've removed all the dirt from your surface, take a second towel or flip to a clean side on your towel. This is where you can buff off the residue. Now EcoSmart contains lubricants to help you remove all the dirt and debris without scratching, but it also contains natural carnauba wax in it to help you protect the surface until your next wash. That's not really what we're about in this detail right now. We just want to remove all the dirt so we don't have to buff it off or do anything all that crazy. We're just going to remove all the dirt so we can move on to the next part, which we're going to decontaminate the rough surface with a clay bar. So stay tuned for that.
So we move over to the tires. We've already washed the whole vehicle, but now we're going to give the wheels and tires a nice cleanup. Now these wheels actually aren't alloy, they're actually a plastic hubcap, but we still need to clean them up to make them look their best. We've already cleaned the front, so we're going to move on to the back. Now to clean hubcaps and the tires, since hubcaps aren't easily stained or damaged, I'm going to use some Chemical Guys orange degreaser. This is diluted 1 to 6 with water. So I'm going to spray the whole hubcap and the tire. Now this hubcap looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a very long time because there's a lot of heavy buildup. So I'm going to take an older microfiber towel and start wiping in between the cracks. Now I'm not going to use any brushes. I don't need to use any type of specialty tools. All I got to use is a microfiber towel to break down all the brake dust. Now one thing you guys got to know that if you have alloy is that brake dust is heavily corrosive. So if you have alloys or chrome wheels, you're actually going to need to clean it extremely well with either degreaser or some type of brake cleaner, like we can use our brake dust remover like Diablo, or you can use our Signature Series wheel cleaner to clean off all the brake dust. If you do not clean your wheels in enough time and you let the brake dust sit there, the brake dust actually is going to start eating through the wheel itself and will cause permanent damage. So if you haven't cleaned your wheels in a long time and they have that type of damage, you need to make sure you're able to kind of address that before you return it to the dealer, or they're going to charge you a fee. Now this whole detail is about not paying a fee. So when you signed your lease contract it might say that if you don't bring the car back in original condition or there's certain type of damage, they're going to charge you, or they're going to keep the deposit that you paid for when you dropped off or when you picked up the vehicle from the lease. So now I have the whole wheel pretty clean. I'm going to take my microfiber towel, it's dirty, and I'm just going to wipe down the tire. Like I said, we're not trying to focus too much on doing a super hardcore show detail. We're only trying to clean up the car because it's going to get returned to the dealer this afternoon. There we go. That looks a lot better. Now we're ready to move on to the rest of the car. So we're going to start clay barring the vehicle and get ready to protect it and enhance that shine.
So the next step that we need to do is decontaminate the paintwork. Now, if you wash a car and you rub it and you hear that really rough sound, that's actually pollution and things that got stuck in the pores of the paint. Now, you need to take that out before you put on any wax or sealant. That will help the product bond better to the paint, provide better protection, and even look better. So to decontaminate the paint, I'm going to use the Chemical Guys medium clay bar. So the clay bars come in several different grades of softness to hardness, and that determines how aggressive they are in removing contaminants from the paint. This car has not been clayed, probably ever. It's only a few years old, but I can feel the paint is very, very rough. So I'm going to do a spot right here on the hood. If you come in close, you can see there's all kinds of stains on the paint, as well as more embedded dirt and impurities. You need to use some kind of a lubricant when you clay. So I'm going to use the Chemical Guys luber to lubricate the clay bar so it can glide across the surface. Now, you come in and you apply some moderate pressure and you scrub the paint. The clay bar is actually picking up the stuff from the paint and it's pulling it out of the paint and it gets stuck in the clay. So I'm just going to do this spot right here. There we go. And you work it, you scrub until it feels smooth and you don't hear any more of the rough sounds on the paint. So if you look here in the clay bar, you can see all kinds of stuff. It used to be straight gray, and now it's a little more brown and yellow from it removing all kinds of embedded contaminants. I'm going to come over here and grab a towel. I'm going to buff off any excess lubricant. Okay. Now, I come in here. I'm going to come in and feel it with my hand, and you'll hear smooth. There's nothing going on anymore. So I'll come over here where it's still rough. And over here, it's nice and smooth. So now all the stuff has been removed from the paint, all the contaminants, dirt, debris, pollution, it's all out of the paint, and it'll make a great bed in which to put on the next coat of glaze and then the wax on top of it. Now, you can use the clay bar on many things. It can not only be paint, you can use it on anything that's painted, shiny, or clear. So you can do the clay bar service on metal that's painted. You could do it on chrome, on plastic that's clear, on parts that are painted on like plastic, like bumpers. You can clay glass. Anything that's rough, that's painted, shiny, or clear, you can clay it and then put on your favorite coat of glaze, sealant, or wax on top of it. So we got the whole car to do. We're going to get on it, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. So I'm claying the final spot here on the hood. The Chemical Guys medium duty clay bar. And as you can see, it's actually bringing back a lot of the shine in the paint, because all that stuff that's stuck in the paint, all the pollution and the contamination, that actually blocks light, and it actually helps reduce the amount of shine that you get on the paint. So once you pull all that out, you actually get paint that looks better right away. So now that I got this part decontaminated, I'm going to wipe it down. And now the whole hood here is ready to go for the next step. So we're going to finish with the clay on the whole rest of the car. And the next step after this, now that we have all the pores of the paint clean, we have all the pollution out, now we got to fill it up with something good. So this is a great time to put on our black light glaze to help make the paint look better and enhance the shine and help to fill in some of these swirls and scratches that we have in the paint to help improve the look of it. So next up, we're going to get the guys out here, we're going to glaze the car, and then we're going to put some wax on it. See you in a sec.
Yeah! So we're moving on to our next step in the guide on how to return a leased car. So we washed the whole car and then we also clay barred it, but now we need to take care of the paint. Now the paint on this car is actually very neglected. There's a lot of swirl marks and a lot of scratches on the paint. Now it's hard to see that on camera, but we need to try and cover those up. If this were a car that the owner was going to keep, I'd recommend to polish the whole vehicle. But polishing takes a lot of time, and to do this whole car would probably take us at least 2 days. So this car needs to be returned this afternoon. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a glaze to enhance the shine and protect the paint, as well as cover up a lot of the swirls. So we're going to use Blacklight. Now Blacklight is a hybrid radiant finish. It works on all colors. It's going to brighten the paint, but what it's also going to do is hide a lot of the swirls and scratches because it's going to fill them in. So it's going to give the illusion of a freshly polished paintwork, but we're going to do it in a fraction of the time. Plus, this car is going back to the dealership, so we don't need to spend all that time polishing. So since we're not going to use a machine, we're going to go ahead and apply this by hand. And I'm going to use a microfiber applicator pad. And then we'll put the Blacklight on and spread it on the paint. Now once you have it on the applicator pad, you simply just want to spread it right onto the paint. There we go. Now you don't need to go real thick on this, you just need to spread it right over and make sure you get even coverage. Now earlier, Matt was actually on the back of the trunk and he was using a machine polisher on a white pad with the Blacklight, and it took out about 60% of the swirl marks. So if you have a machine polisher like a Torque, Porter Cable, a Flex 3401 dual action polisher, or a Cyclo, you could easily go ahead and polish the whole car using Blacklight and do a once over with a white pad. Now we don't have the time for that today because we're pressed on time. The owner needs the car back this afternoon. So we're just gonna go ahead and spread over the Blacklight. Now I'm going to go grab Matt and Robbie, and we're going to go ahead and spread the Blacklight over the whole entire car, wait 20 minutes, and then buff it off. Then after that, we're going to top it with wax, but we still got to do the wheels, we still got to do the inside of the car and the windows to make it look good before it goes back to the dealer. So we'll see you on the next step.
So while we're waiting for the Blacklight to dry, we're going to dress the tires with Silk Shine dressing to give it that nice, fine, natural look. We're using our tire foam applicator. Give it a couple nice sprays into the foam applicator and rub it into the rubber. Nice and hard to get into all those cracks, crevices, all those little spots you want to hit with the tire dressing. There you have it.
So now it's been 20 minutes and we're going to buff off the Blacklight. Now if you put Blacklight on in a nice thin layer, it's going to wipe off effortlessly. So me, Robbie, and Matt, we're going to buff off all the Blacklight, and then we're going to go ahead and throw on some butter wet wax.
So now we're on to the last step on the exterior detail of this car for the paint work. We're going to put on a coat of wax. So I'm going to use the Chemical Guys Butter Wet Wax. This is a natural carnauba-based wax, so it'll give us a nice warm glow along with enhanced shine across all the paint work. To spread it on is very simple. I'm just going to take a microfiber applicator. I'm just going to put on a couple lines here. Now the key, just like with Blacklight, you want to put on a thin, even coat. You don't need a lot of this, so I'm going to take what I got on the pad, just going to spread it out over this whole half of the hood. So those two little lines can go a very long way. And then I'm just going to spread it over the paint. Just like I'm spreading butter on toast. You don't need to work it in. You don't need to spread very hard. You just got to get a thin, even coat across everything. Now, you noticed whenever we were wiping or spreading things on the paint, we like to use straight lines when we go. We don't like to use circles. That especially goes for when you're claying the car or when you're cleaning off dirt. That's just in case you get a piece of dirt or something on your applicator and you rub in circles, that piece of dirt's moving in all kinds of different directions and you're getting uneven scratches throughout all the paint. If you go in straight lines, that little particle would only move in one way. The scratches would be uniform and easier to remove, not as noticeable if you're looking at it. So you can do less damage that way. So it's good to just have good habits when you're detailing. Should the worst come to worst. So you spread the product like butter wet wax over the paint. You get a nice thin even coat. And now butter wet wax has no dry time. You don't have to wait. It's wipe on and then you're ready to buff off. So I already have my microfiber towel. I'm gonna buff off the butter wet wax to reveal the warm, lustrous shine that we get across this blue paintwork. So I'm gonna finish this part of the hood. We're gonna do the rest of the car. And Greg is gonna introduce us to the interior detailing steps that we have to take on this car for the lease return. See you in a second.
So now we're moving on to the inside of this lease return detail. Now, the outside of the car is looking a lot better with just the minimal amount of work that we put into the exterior. But now we need to move on to the inside of the car as well. Now, the inside of the car is very dirty. There's a lot of dirt and debris on the mats and the seats are stained. But one thing I did notice is that the inside of the car didn't smell fresh anymore. Now, this car does have about 18,000 miles on it, and it's going to be returned in pretty good condition, but I want to make sure that the inside smells fresh. So to restore the inside of the car, I'm going to be using Chemical Guy's New Car Scent. Now this is really cool because it's going to restore that fresh new car smell, because this air freshener smells exactly like a new car. So if you ever bought a car from the dealership, open the door and it has that original scent, this is that original scent just bottled inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flush it through the AC system, because when you turn on this AC, it doesn't smell as fresh as it should. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing you want to do is start the car. Now after the car is started, you want to turn the AC to the coldest setting, and you want to turn the fan on the highest setting. And make sure that the vents are blowing out of the top vents and that you have it on recirculate. So recirculate might look like a little car with a arrow going in a circle, or it might say max AC. Either one. This one has the circle, so we're going to go ahead and select that. Now I'm going to turn on the fan all the way to high and let it blow. Now I like to wait about 30 seconds to a minute for it to start blowing kind of cold, and then once it's blowing cold, I know the AC and all the doors are closed in the dash and it's ready to be sprayed. So I'm going to shake up my air freshener and odor neutralizer, and I'm going to reach down and I'm going to spray this right at the bottom of the dash, right on the carpet. I'll spray a few sprays right at the bottom, and now our AC is starting to smell a lot better. It's like instant results. I'm going to go on the back side too and spray a few sprays. There we go. Our AC is smelling fresh and wonderful again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run for a minute for it to kill any of the bacteria and odors that are inside the AC system, because the new car smell actually kills all the bacteria and odor permanently. Then I'm going to take the new car smell, spray 2 sprays in the back, and I can even spray it on seats if I want to, if they're smelly. So now I'm going to go ahead and leave all the settings on the max, and I'm going to turn the vehicle off. That way when the owner comes back and she turns on the car, it's going to be blowing fresh, clean AC right in her face. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab Matt. Matt's going to show you how to clean the seats. We're going to give them a little refresh, and then we're going to vacuum out the interior and finish the rest of the detail. We'll see you later.
So now it's time to clean the upholstery on the seats. They're looking moderately bad. They're kind of stained. They're looking a little darker from all the dirt, grease, body oil, stains from jeans rubbing off on the seats. So we want to clean them up. To clean up this upholstery on the inside, I'm going to use Nonsense. Nonsense is an all-purpose cleaner. It's colorless and odorless. So you can see there's no color, and when you use it, there's no odor. I already have this diluted 1 to 20 parts with water for interior cleaning. So I'm going to use this. I'm just going to spray it here on the seat. I'm just going to get this half of the panel to show you what I'm going to do, and then to actually scrub out and agitate all the dirt and stains out of the fabric, I'm going to use a carpet and upholstery brush mounted on a power drill. Now this brush is the gray brush. It's very soft. It's perfect for powerful scrubbing and powerful cleaning on things that are more sensitive, like upholstery for seats. So I'm going to go ahead and scrub out the seat with this brush. There we go. So I've scrubbed out the seat. Let's get our yellow microfiber towel and then just give it a wipe just to pick up any of the cleaner and all the dirt, oils, grease, and grime that gets suspended in the surface. As you can see, we now have a fresh, clean seat on this half. And this half is still looking and feeling a little grimy. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the rest of the car, and we're going to try to bring this interior back up so the owner doesn't get dinged when she goes for the lease return. See you in a couple minutes.
So now we're going to vacuum the passenger side sheet with a shop vac vacuum. Let's do it. All right, so now we're done vacuuming. We're going to vacuum the rest of the car, and that will do it for our lease detailing.
Now we're at the final step of this detail, and that's the glass. You want to leave the glass to the very last thing you do, because if you're ever working around the car, if you're spraying a product here or you're spreading a product there, you're just going to get some on the glass, and it's going to ruin your work, and you're going to be chasing your tail. So do the glass last. You should use a good glass cleaner. I'm going to use Signature Series glass cleaner. And the trick to cleaning glass without getting any streaks is to use a proper cleaning method. And it's what we call the 2-towel method. So you spread on the glass cleaner. I'm just going to prime the sprayer. You spread it over all the glass. You just need a couple sprays. Now what you do, you take your first towel. This is what you use to clean off all the dirt and debris and the bulk of the cleaner. So I'm just going to come in here and scrub off all this stuff. You see there's some spots here that I'm getting off. All this stuff from the window. So that's what the first towel is for. Your second towel, you leave to the side until you're ready to take off all the remainder. This is your second towel, and you buff off any streaks, leftover glass cleaner. It's that simple. You just use this simple method with the 2 towels, and you get perfectly clear glass every time. Now, you can use that trick on the inside of the car as well. To clean the inside of the glass, it might be easier, so you're not misting things all over the inside of the car. Go ahead, mist the towel instead in your hand, and then wipe the glass with your hand as normal. Then come in with the second towel to get the glass perfectly clear. So you can see the difference, the before on that side and the after here. So I'm going to do this method over the whole car and on the mirrors to get all the glass perfectly clean. See you in a second.
So now we finished our complete detail on this lease return Honda Accord. Now this thing, when it came in, was completely destroyed. And if the owner would have taken it back to the dealer, she would have had to pay fines for having the car in such bad condition. But now after we spent the day with it, it looks completely like original condition, and now we're gonna send it back to the dealer.
Absolutely. The outside of the car looks and feels great. Because of the clay bar service, we took out all the rough feeling from the paint. The glaze and the wax made it look almost brand new. On the inside, after a vacuum, we cleaned up the seats, we did the AC flush. The car looks and smells brand new inside too.
This is something you could easily do anywhere, anytime. It didn't take a lot of products, and we were able to do it with minimal effort. Since this car is not going to be with the owner for very long, it's better that we spend less time and get a high value of production right out of this job. Now, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're going to return your lease, make sure that you take really good care of the job right when you're done. So that means that you can turn it in without any fines or any extra payments. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. We'll see you right here next time in the Detail Garage.